Welcome to CIT 157, Module 2-2. In this class, you will connect other web pages using hyperlink. You will insert images. You will also practice how to deal with folder structures. Remember, reading requirements are very important. In Activity 1, you will create two web pages and connect them together using a tag or element with a href attribute. Attribute gives a way to specify additional information about an element. If you work at home, before you start, make sure that you have connected VPN and mapped M drive to your local computer. Then create Module 2-2 folder under M public www CIT157 labs folder. Open Notepad and type HTML codes from this slide. Save it as a first.html under the folder. Do you remember three things to save file? First, where to save. Second, what is the file extension? And third, what is the file name? The same way, create second.html. Then connect it to first.html. In the middle, you can see new tag A with a href attribute. A stands for anchor. href stands for hyperreference. Anchor itself is called as a tag or an element. href is called as attribute of the element A because href is belong to the element A. Attribute gives a way to specify additional information about an element. Look at the image for the result. In the web browser, you can see only HERE here with the blue color and underline. This means it is clickable, something you can click. In HTML, something inside the element will be hidden. Modify first.html to connect to second.html with anchor element and hyperreference attribute. Relative path. Before you do this activity, you should understand the folder structure. First.html and second.html are under the same folder, module 2-2. Then you can use A with the href with the file name only. If you have another file inside a subfolder, then you need to add more things in the file path. Just suppose you were third.html. You have to go upper or parent folder to search first.html or second.html. In this case, you need to add / in front of the file names inside the third HTML code. This code shows that third.html has two hyperlinks to upper or parent folder. Suppose that you were first.html. Then you have to go down inside the practice folder to search third.html. In this case, you are going down to the subfolder practice from where you are. When you go down to a subfolder, you need to add the subfolder name / in front of file path. In this case, you should add practice / in front of third.html. This is updated code for first.html. In Activity 3, you will add an image inside the web page. Before you do it, you need to download images inside the proper folders. When you add images, you need to keep the same rules with the folder structure. To insert images, you can use img element with the src attribute. Img element is called a void element because it does not have a closing tag. Even if an image is under a subfolder, you need to add a subfolder name in the file path. If an image is in parent folder, you need to add / in the file path. This is overall file structure. There are more things about image files in the web page. In image element, you may add alt, width, and height attribute. Alt stands for alternative. When the image is not available, the alternative text will be displayed. You can set the image size with width and height. This is an example of alt, width, and height. You can connect hyperlink on an image. If users click the image, other web page will pop up. If a web page has several images, the web server sends the web page without images first. When your web browser interprets first image line, it sends the first image request to the server. Then the server will send the first image. When your web server interprets second image line, it sends second image request to the server. Then the server will send the second image. About image format, well, actually there are a zillion formats for images out there in the world, all with their own strengths and weaknesses. But luckily, only 3 of those formats are commonly used on the web: JPEG, PNG, and GIF. The only tricky part is deciding which to use when. JPEG is good for photos and complex graphics. It is a lossy format because it throws away some information about the image when it reduces the file size. PNG or GIF is good for images with solid colors, logos, and geometric shapes. It is a lossless format because it does not throw away some information about the image when it reduces the file size. You need to submit the URL for first HTML, second HTML, and third HTML in modules 2-2 class activity. This is the final result for all 3 files. This is the end of module 2-2. Let's see you in module 2-3.